I just watched the new advertisement by Nurofen about women managing pain, and it's just kind of got me feeling very emotional. It hit home. I was watching another video about books, incidentally, and the advertisement came up first. Like, you know, when you're on YouTube and you're watching a video, and then that person has like advertisements come up first. It came up, and I clicked the button, and it just went off. And so I've searched for it, and I found it on YouTube, and I'll put a link to it below this video. But as I was watching it, like when I was watching it as an advertisement, there was a moment in the video where I just started to feel really emotional, which inspired me to go and find the whole video. And it really does speak to my whole experience with doctors and trying to explain exactly what I'm going through in terms of my chronic pain and the frustration that you have. There's a moment in the advert when the woman says, oh, they told me it was wear and tear. And I literally, as she was saying it, I said it too. And I can't tell you how often, how many times. If I had a penny, if I had $1 for every time a doctor has said to me, oh, yeah, your back, it's just wear and tear, I would be able to afford private medical treatment from my own concierge doctor. I've heard that so many times, and it just made me feel really emotional. Everything every woman has said on that video, I have experienced. And I think what gets me is like, you should watch these videos and feel better that you're not alone, but it just makes you feel worse because you're like, oh shit, ain't nobody out here getting the treatment they deserve for their pain. There was one woman who said, you're watching all your friends get on with their life, and that happens. And there was another woman that said she couldn't get out of bed and she couldn't do anything, and I was like, yeah, that's my life. It just hit home really with it was just too real. It was too real and too on the nose. But with this Nurofen, their advertisement is talking about, which I didn't think of, their advertisement is talking about pain, like closing the gap between pain and women being dismissed because of their gender, which I never in all the time that I've had this experience with doctors just basically, yeah, just dismissing me, I've never thought about it from the point of view that I was a woman. I've always thought about it as a point of view as being black, because black people, through the eyes of some doctors, I'm being really like PC at the moment, but black women's pain is not recognized. And so I'm always tentative when like when I had my surgery and I couldn't sleep, like a couple of weeks afterwards I couldn't sleep, and I wanted to have I was remembering the pills that they gave me, and they gave me morphine when I was in hospital, and the morphine wasn't, it was heavy enough to put me to sleep, but it wasn't heavy enough that I felt it surging through my system, which sometimes when I take certain painkillers, they're so strong you just can't do anything, and anything too strong makes me feel nauseous and makes me feel really sick. So I was like, okay, maybe this morphine will help. And I was so nervous and anxious about asking for morphine, because I kept thinking in my head, they already have a perception about black people, and if I asked for this, do you know what I mean? Like, if I asked for this, it's like it might be a whole hullabaloo. Do you know what I mean? I might get questioned on why I need it. I just didn't feel comfortable to ask for morphine. And I tried all different ways to rephrase to phrase it. Like, I just want some morphine. Do you know what I mean? I was just like, there's a lot of stereotypical bias out there. And I just felt really anxious as a black woman asking for it. Yeah, no. Some people will say, oh, you're in your head. And I'm like, no, bruv, I'm not in my head. This is the society we live in, right? But fortunately, I found a way of just talking about it, easy breezy, And I ended up getting, I didn't get morphine in the end because we were talking about it, and we were talking about how it might be too strong for my system. But I did get something else that was exceptionally strong, and I couldn't use it anyway. But the doctor came at it from a different point of view. She was very much like, she was very helpful. But yeah, that is also something that I deal with as a black woman. Like, can I ask for certain painkillers without you looking at me and wondering if I'm a drug addict? Do you know what I mean? I don't feel comfortable doing that. But that Nurofen advertisement, one woman said she's been managing pain for 50 years, and I'm just like, this is where I see me going, because they were talking about how dismissed they were. And I tell you, that video is so on the nose. It's so on the nose with my experience that I'm just like, everybody out here is not listening. Like, people are not listening to other people when they are in pain. And when you're in pain and you know you're in pain and the doctors get something wrong, they don't turn around and validate you by saying, hey, we were wrong. You actually knew what you were talking about. We're going to help you out here. We were wrong. When I had my I had to see a physiotherapist, right? I had to see a physiotherapist before I got passed on to a specialist. And this woman had me in her room, and I was led to believe that I was there and she was going to prescribe me some painkillers for my hip, right? At the time, I didn't know what was going on. And instead, she asked me a bundle of questions and then sat me down on this like bed and then started to move my legs around. And I was like, yo, I can't move my legs around like that because you're going to trigger pain. But she was moving and prodding everything. She kept saying to me, oh, we just got to get you up and about and moving. We have to get you walking. We have to get you doing these exercises. And I said to her, bruv, I just want some painkillers because I can't do any of the things you're talking about. But they talk to you as though you're lazy. Do you know what I mean? As though you're being lazy and there's more you can do. After she prodded and poked me, her face changed and she said, oh, I don't think it's what I think it is, because your leg's able to do this. And if your leg's able to do this, it might mean there's something else. She turned around and she tapped into the computer, right? And she was like, I'm going to refer you to a specialist. No, I'm sorry. No, you were right. No, you're not lazy. Well, she didn't say I was lazy, but you know, she implied it. No, like, oh yeah, you're right. This is bigger than what I thought it was. No, like, oh no, you don't have to do walking around. We actually have to get you to see a specialist. No, nothing. Just, oh, specialist. And I was just like, okay, cool. Now I'm trying to have a different perspective on it, and I'm looking at this whole like experience, my whole like this July will make 18 years managing chronic pain. I'm looking at my whole experience a little differently. I'm going forward because I honestly feel like this is just the cards I've been dealt for my life. And so I'm looking forward. I'm just looking at this whole thing differently, my whole pain and my life differently. But yeah, like I said, I'll leave the link in the description below. And trigger warning, you might need some tissues.